I am Amelia McCoy, and I am 66 one. And I do want some water. Whoever's in charge of this, they always save them to last, and I always get nervous and I need water. But I am Oklahoma from day one. I was born in Peace County. I still live there. I was born to a family before, and I'm still farming. I didn't finish high school. I got married at 16, and I fought a lot with that man. October this year, we were married 50 years, and we still fight. But it's a lot of fun, and I'd rather fight with him break someone else. Now, it's addictive. He has done all the cooking. He had a heart attack. About the time I got my business going, he had a massive heart attack. We were farmers and ranchers. We have a ranch. And right down south of Maiden, in Peace County. And we worked. He was very successful. He can tell you this story today. He didn't get to finish school either. He was from a family of 12. But he always dreamed of this farm on the river. 500 acres down on that river. I hated it. I didn't know him then, but I sure didn't want to marry farmer. So through the years, I met him when I was about 14, and he was 18, and I started dating at about 15, and I was going on 30 then, I thought. But anyway, about the time that we decided to get married, I guess that's why we really decided to get married. It was going World War II. They broke out, and he was going to the Army. So you were going to be drafted anyway, you knew that. So he volunteered, and we got married, and I was 16. And he was gone for 3 years. And he was in the North African campaign. He fought all through the North African invasion and was a filler in for the 45th Division. So I was just fixed to be 20 when he came home. He assured me we never farmed and we'd never live in Oklahoma. The first thing we did was bought a home and began to farm in Peace County, Oklahoma. So, but all my life, my mother always said, you're all teachers. And I love teachers. I really love teachers, believe me. But I was always looking around. I wouldn't be still. I never got a visit in school, never got a spanking, but I got scolded. He just made you turn around. But I'll tell you, I know now because I have some grandchildren like this. I was bored to death with class and what they was teaching me. I couldn't be still, and I was daydreaming. I had my mind on everything. I read my books, and I knew what was going on in those books, and I knew what they were saying, but I had my own dream. And my mother, like I said, we were back in, you might even say, the Dust Bowl area. I could be all over your grandmother, but I can remember, way back then, I was a little bitty kid, and everybody was going to California. And they'd come through our yard, people going, they had their little livers loaded up with whatever they could do. That's take that. Well, my mother said, we can't go. We had a pretty good sized family too, so we're going to have to make do with what we've got. And she did. And I'm giving my mother much credit. Simple fact, my daddy was always sick. I can't remember him not being well. So we farmed and my mother farmed, and we all had our jobs, but she was the most artistic person I've ever known. If she fixed a meal, it was beautiful. When my mother made me a dress, it was a beautiful dress, and often out of the skirt of her dress. And she kept us clean. She left her clothes on the board. I've seen her fingers bleed many times. But I'm saying all this to say I know what life's all about, and I've lived life. And we've done without a lot. A lot of days we wouldn't have biscuits, we wouldn't have flour. And my mother seen her make brand biscuits for us. And this is going way back there, but this was the way it was. And I thought then, we're the only poor people in the world. But I saw so much beauty everywhere I lived. I would stay outside and I'd look up in the clouds and I'd get all these beautiful pictures. I would look at the horizon over there, and I decided that was a big, beautiful city, and I just lived in my day. So this is what I was doing in school. I heard those teachers, but I had my own idea of what life was about. It was always beautiful, and I could never be still. So my mom would make me dress, and I'd make a bow. And the most unpopular bow I ever made, you should know about this. My grandmother, I thought, was rich. My grandparents, they had they owned their own home, and they had a lot of things we didn't. We were just ready. And when I go to grandma's, I thought I was in heaven. And she ordered her pennies from Sears and Roebuck. And we did it. My mom made ours. But anyway, on her, it was 2 rows. I'll never forget this. And on the bottom of the glass, of course, they came to your knee almost. And there was a little pink ruffle. It was cute thing, and had a little eyelet trim on it. But she always took those off. She didn't want that. Well, one day I went and had to lay on the bed. And I was going to school the next day. So I thought, oh, how pretty. It's so pretty. We didn't have anything that pretty at our house. I knew where it came from, but I didn't think anyone else would. So I made a really big bow and tried to put on. And I hated 2 boys, absolutely hated them. They picked at me all the time. And I was always taller than everybody else, too. I was taller than these little short guys. But they was always kidding me and picking on me. And Billy said, Leah's got panties in her hair. Well, to say the least, that bow went real quick. But anyway, years came, and my husband would come back, and we began to farm. And I always thought, okay, if I'm stuck on the farm, farming's going to be good. If I make the garden, it's going to be the best garden in the neighborhood. And I made all my own clothes, and I maybe fit me. It's about this big round a few years ago. So I couldn't find clothes that would really fit me because it was tall, and then when all that been tall women, and certainly not that big round. So I began to make my own clothes. And sure enough, I made those too. And I had real long, kind of auburn red hair, you know, and all these things. So I don't care if I was home. Nobody ever saw me. I like to be pretty. And I keep thinking my husband's going to really notice me about this stuff. That he really did 5 or 6 years ago. Now he tells me I'm pretty. Back then I really needed it. He didn't tell me all that. So anyway, Sonny, George McCoy is his name, but everybody calls him Sonny. So we were married 10 years when our first child was born. He was gone, and he hadn't had malaria fever. There was things happening. I wanted a baby from the time I was 10 years old. I wanted my own baby. So now I was turning almost 26, and we had our first son. And say that the least, he's the greatest person that ever lived. He was a prayed for child. He was an angel baby. Then I had Debbie, and she was the most special because she was my little girl now. I began to make Debbie's bows, and I fashioned all her clothes. I am a seamstress incidentally also. So I made all Debbie's clothes, and every Debbie went, her bow matched her whole outfit, and everybody loved what Debbie had. And I've got all her school pictures, and every picture has a bow in Debbie's head. So time went on, and Debbie had a little girl, Miss 14 years ago now. And one day she was at my house. Okay, now Debbie had married, Benny had married, Scott had married, and my kids were all gone. And here we are on this big ranch, big beautiful ranch home. Everything in it I've made, my drapes, my bedspreads. I've painted my walls every year. I made my home beautiful. You can make whatever you are prettier than this if you want to. And I would say, a child, don't get bored. Don't be bored. I actually would like to follow a young person's journey. And there's one at home. I would absolutely love to hold her because she means business. And she makes up the best grades. She's going to college and do something that she's doing. But she is determined to make something out of her life. And all you have to really do is want to do something. Mean business and go for it. But anyway, Debbie said, Mom, make me just some bows. Okay, I hadn't made bows now for a while. Debbie had been out she'd been married before. I quit making bows, and I said, well, what kind of bow? This is a good line. She said, well, Mom, right now they're wearing this so-and-so, so-and-so. And I said, okay, well, let's just make this just some bows. So I began to make these just some bows. Well, I had another event on 3 months younger, and I thought, well, I'll make Kelly's bows too. So I got to make it both the bows. And I was so excited about this that all of a sudden I had bows that they couldn't wear. So I began to give them to the kids around the community. Now, if you know where we live, you don't. But Lamar is not where they When you're at Lamar, you just go as far back as you get. Okay, we live 5 miles out of Lamar. Down the winding road, right? And where we live, South Canadian Middle is one side of our ranch, and there's a range of mountains at the front. Couldn't see another light. It was like using your own world, sometimes you thought we were. And you didn't hear other sounds. You saw an airplane, that's me. My husband absolutely sent home heaven. In fact, we do have 200 acres down there that's called Park Heaven. My oldest son, he went to college and he always learned from his daddy. George was a very successful farmer. We were farm family in this county 3 years. And we all worked at it. And I was out there before 6 o'clock in the morning. I hoed barefooted, and I still love for barefooted. We hoed our peanuts. We raised peanuts and we irrigated peanuts. And we had the best peanuts in the county. But we worked at it because he was perfectionist. And like this gentleman said, people want perfection. I don't care what you say. If you get a hamburger, it's got to be the best. Or if it's loaf bread, you want it to taste like a good loaf bread. So he was such a perfectionist. He actually was overlooking the most important thing in our children's life, and that was giving them time. A parent should certainly give their children some time. Well, I did give them mine. I was with those kids from the time they got up to ready to bed. We played together, we worked together. We were in the fields and we all worked. I trained those children to work. And if we were hoeing peanuts, we made fun of the forest fires and things, or whom I thinking about this, and the day went by, we didn't really realize we had worked that much, but we were all in good shape. We didn't need to jog or anything like that. And didn't know what potato chips and pop and all these kids are. We cooked our house 3 meals a day. My husband had a hot belly time to get fast. And but anyway, I always thought, got the best home in the community, and I knew it. I was raising my children in church. I was taking them. I wasn't sending them. And I was a good wife. I knew that. Had the prettiest, cleanest home. I wore the prettiest clothes because I made them, but we could afford them that much. Made all Debbie's clothes. And I kept my boys' jeans pressed, their shirts ironed. So what I tried to do is everything I ever did. I gave it my best, and I was always happy. I didn't want to live down there. I didn't want to live on the farm. Certainly didn't want to live. Hughes County, our home, is one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see. It's all white sand. You don't have red mud. But anyway, it's good connection to the watermelons, tomatoes, all these type of things. But anyway, I was always yearning. I knew there's more to it. I always thought if you're a Christian, you're a better Christian. If you're a school teacher, you're a better school teacher. You can be better than you are. And so all the time I was thinking, there's more. The very bottom of my life is writing. I do have a big story, and I have written many articles that have been published in many papers, consumer papers, clothing papers, magazines. This is the thing I always loved to do and draw art. Always loved that. And I thought one day this is what I'm going to do, but I want to go to OU. I want to learn all the skills. See, I didn't finish high school now, and I went to school at the bottom. Typing wasn't offered at the time. And certainly I didn't have typing, so finally I began to write an article for a local paper, and they paid me $4 a month and bought a typewriter. And I began to teach myself to write. And because I was going to write, this was my dream, and I did do a lot of writing. So about the time that our youngest son, Scotty, was finishing high school and he was going to go to Oakville also. And there was just the two of us now. There's so much cooking you can do. When you go from a Margarita, you don't need very many clothes. There's nowhere to go. I've been out to charge. If you wore a new dress and baby last week to church at Lamar, he was funny. He thought he was something. She thought she's someone. So you keep them back and keep wearing these old dresses so they won't talk about you. But anyway, by now, Scott was going off to college, and I thought, well, now what do you do? You know, we still are here getting peanuts, and yes, I was up at 6 o'clock and most practices like me. And I was in good shape too, like the men. But about this time, my husband had a massive heart attack. He'd never been sick a day in his life, 51 years old. Never been to a doctor since he came out of the service. And one day he came in, and I was putting corn in the freezer, and he found it about 6 o'clock, and I fixed him a good hot meal, and he ate. He said, Mom, thank you for that guy on the platform. Our penis was just fine. I needed protection. So he went on back out there, and I said, well, I'm going to be working with this car till midnight. No, I've had my grandchild. This is something else that you do when you're not working. You're taking care of everybody's kids. And I was a non-star. Now, the kids all their mom's best friend. And in fact, I won all the awards. It could be better than I am. And I won a writing award in the state with the homemade opioids. And but anyway, he went back to work, and I kept on working with the car. He came in about 9, and I said, Dad, I've got some good fresh cookies. And he stopped me and made a cup of coffee. I loved that. So I made some coffee, and he sat down, and we sat down with him. In about 30 minutes, we just relaxed. And he said, well, when you take a shower, go to bed. I said, okay, at midnight, I was going through here. So in a minute, I heard him. I'm very wasn't calling at night. And I heard it again. I don't know what it was. He already had a massive heart attack. And I was scared to death, to say the least. And I called my son, Benny, by now, my oldest son, and they had moved to a mobile home down in the big lot below us. And he was, this is when the hog heaven together. We started basically hot top hogs. And he banged it off Hot City. But anyway, this is what he was doing and wanting some of the stuff. And I called Benny, and we rushed. We couldn't rush him. He was so bad that we go on, so he said, stop, roll the window down, turn on the air conditioner, roll it back up, you know, everything was going on. And so he hovered between life and death for 9 days. And at this time, this was just beginning. And I always say there is a time for things. And this gentleman, bless his heart, I was like, hey, you don't know everything. He said, after a certain age, you know, there's nothing you can do. But this, and I started my business when I was 54. And you can do it, and I will say it is not too late to begin something. I'm not a puny person. I never was. I've been thinking of everything, and you'll never hear me say, I've got a headache, and I've got an aspirin. If I've got a headache, then I believe to know. I don't have one now. But what I'm saying is, about this time, we didn't know if we was going to be charging or not. And the doctor told us we'd be watching because he had very serious troubles. A good part of his heart was there. And so, to say the least, the next 4 years he was in and out of the hospital. Actually, finally, I got him to Oklahoma City after the doctor said, George is in good health, taking all the fishing. He wasn't getting to work, and I was just like this with all this land. We had paddled, we had everything. It was just lying. Benny was doing what he could with it. And was doing a very good job. But he couldn't do what he was supposed to do. And so we rushed to Oklahoma City, here at Baptist Hospital. And they found that he had an aneurysm. Within 6 weeks, he would have been dead. And this was about 5 years after this massive heart attack. So to say that things happen at a certain time, I'll say God knew what he was doing. And he made me, as my oldest son says, Mom, you're tough. I don't think I am. I don't think I'm tough at all. But I've lived long enough to learn a lot of things. And one of them, we don't listen to voices out in the world. They'll say you can't do it. I've been told everything since I started this business. And it wasn't something I planned to start. It just kind of happened for my granddaughters. I decided for bows. But I did make the best bow, and I didn't bring any with me. I really didn't see the use because they're in every Walmart. And I've been told it. Practically every Walmart has our bows. But to show you how ignorance is bliss, I got more bows than I could. I got kids there, and I was sitting at the night, not for the man then, but because it was at I was excited. I couldn't sleep anymore. I was getting ribbons, I was mixing all these colors, and someone said the other day on an interview said, what did your husband think? I said, he thought he didn't have a wife anymore. He said, Mom, you going to bed tonight? And I said, be there in their bed. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I may still be making bows. Mom, you're not cooking anymore. I know, but hey, go ahead and eat yourself. Get through the house anymore. That's okay, go around it. So, to say the least, I had a poster board about this size. And one day I ran in over to Hopeville. I go for Walmart. Well, I was about that store. And to show you, I had not worked in my life. I worked on the farm, in my home. I am military athlete. I do that for my families. You know, I loved all these things, but I wasn't getting paid for it. It's just something I loved to do, so I did it. And I hadn't worked, hadn't been in the business world, I didn't know all these things. I just knew what I did. And, but anyway, I ran into our Hopeville Walmart. This is about 14 years ago now. And I didn't know they had Amelia, and that's all I knew. And then we had always got to go to Walmart. I've been hearing that. And I ran in over there and I said, is your store manager in here? And they said, yes, what page man? Well, Randy was fairly young man. He came to the ground. And I said, hey, Randy, I'm Amelia McCoy, and I live here, right out here, and I've got these bows. Would you like some in your store? He said, well, I'd like to, but I can't. And I said, if you'd like to, don't get you. And this is what I'm saying, ignorance is bliss, I guess. I wouldn't have done that if I knew what I know now. Believe me, I would probably not be today in this position. But anyway, he said, well, I'll have to talk to my district manager. I said, okay, let's talk to him. Where is he? And he said, hey, I don't see him but ever so often, but I will be talking to him Tuesday, and I will ask him to say the voice. And he said, call me Tuesday, and Tuesday I called him. So he said, I'm going to be talking to him on Thursday. And he said, call me Thursday. Well, I heard him on Thursday, but like for Thursday, he forgot again. And I know what it was. He was embarrassed as I'm talking. And it's just something that was not done back then. Today, it isn't done anymore. So I said, well, where is your district manager? I'll call him. And he said, well, he is out of Utah, incidentally. At that time, the district that we hold him there was the Empress from El Reno, all the way to McAllister, and we added to sulfur. That was, I think it was 11 stove. So he said, the district manager said, yes, the lady was selling his stove. Well, the lady couldn't keep them. And boy, I was busy now. I was excited. And so I was still making them all for myself. And I got a lot of who came to Edmond one day. My youngest son lived, whose name was Tostable. And they lived in Nichols Hills, and they came to the Edmond Walmart. So I told my daughter-in-law, I said, where's your closest Walmart? Where she's got one in Edmond, I don't know. And I said, hey, let's run out there, look at the bows I've got. I bet you can sell these. And I knew he was in Michigan Rapids District because we already now having stores in that district. So I ran into the Edmond Walmart store, and I had more bows about this big. And I asked for the manager. I was really good by now. I knew they had managers. That was the district manager. And so he came up front, and boy, I was brave at this time too. I talked to one manager so far. And I said, how would you like to sell my bows? And he said, well, they're beautiful. He said, sure, I'd like to sell them, but I can't because I have to go through my district manager. And I said, it's Chuck Webb, isn't it? And he said, yes, it is. And I said, hey, I'm okay. He told me I could sell them. So he said, okay, if Chuck says you can, sure, we'll sell your bow. So, man, I hurried back home and got busy then. I left him about $800. Boy, I mean, I just really got to go on there. So one day, like I said, we live on the farm. My daughter-in-law here, we have the softest water you ever saw, just clear as it can be, but it had a little bit of iron taste in it. So we used to go against water softeners for Ada. And anyway, this was our big day out. We took those to Ada. We'd eat and do all these things. So anyway, this day, she said, well, it's time for us to go take the water softeners. And I said, hey, just a minute. I've got some bows, and it's going in pickup because we had two of those chip things. And we had to take pickup. So I got my little yellow suitcase and put my bows in there and put them behind the seat so they would go away. And we went to Ada, and I called from downtown Ada. The phone was kind of out of town. And I said, can I speak to your manager? Well, they put him on naturally. And I said, you don't know me, but I sell bows in Walmart. You know, they said, we do. And I said, yeah. And I said, I would like to sell them in Ada. He said, let's do it at the district manager's here. Come on out and let us see that you got. Now, I have them in the truck there. And I was telling people he was letting me sell them, and he did sell them. I wasn't lying. Well, I went in there, and when I went in the store, I was again this little yellow suitcase, and I still got it in my hand, and just walked it through as big as I could, you know, and they had a little step up, you know, then they had to be able to see all of the stuff. And there she said, well, and sit up there, and they sit there. I said, maybe come on out. And so I just walked out on up there with my boss, and I said, are you the manager? And he said, no, this is our district manager, Chuck Webb, and I am Mary J. And I said, well, I'm Amelia McCoy. And I said, Mr. Webb, I'm proud to meet you. You know, I talked to you on the phone. And he said, yes, honey, I know. And you've got beautiful bows. I do see them at them. And I said, okay, that's what I have. I want you to look at them. And so we opened that when Mr. Webb said, Gary, you think he's always bows in your store? He said, yeah. So he said, okay. So I'm later. Okay. So now, I said, I've been trying to get with you, Mr. Webb. He said, hi, we're having a district meeting Tuesday at Chavez. I said, no, Motel, would you like to be on that? And I said, yes, I would. Now, I didn't know what was going to be expected of me. He said, you got some samples for the dogs, and all the men in the district is going to be there to be the managers. So I said, what time do you want me to come? I can do it. He said, well, we're starting at about 7. He said, come on, about 9. Well, I often tell this, you won't believe it. I said, I put on my Hanes pantyhose and my slingback pants, and I never will forget what I wore, and I went in there scared to death. And here was all these men. They've been shirts and ties in their suits, and here I was a peanut farmer right out of a peanut patch, you know. So, they received me very well. I never have been received so well by the gentleman. And Mr. Webb came over to his arm around me. He said, I ain't not a man, a young man, I fell in love with him. Just a love him. But he said, this is Amelia McCoy, and she calls herself a little peanut farmer. She's from East County. And said, but she has something we love. And said, I want you gentlemen to all take a look and see if you would like to sell these in your stores. Well, every man in that, they went around, and I was scared to death. They says, well, now I hate groups of men talking, you know, I go, oh my goodness, you know, what are they talking about? And so Chuck said, all right, gentlemen, would you like to sell these bows? And this district said, I think they're beautiful, and I think they will sell. They weren't approved, and they will sell them. Well, every hand in that store about this big table went up. And he said, somebody said, how did you merchandise your clothes? Now, I didn't know what they was talking about. Because that's just what I had was on this piece. I looked at that, and I thought, well, I guess this is merchandising. So I said, pardon me, and they said, do you send them in dozens, 6 dozens? So how do you send these out? And I said, however you want. I mean, I was going to get along with these guys. And it was the 2nd day of December. My birthday was the 6th, and I forget that. And anyway, they said everybody wanted them for Christmas. This is all clothes I have. And I thought, what? And now I got really scared. And I thought, what did I do now? You know, and Chuck said, hey, fellas, let's be kind to Amelia. Said, let's let her do a Christmas promotion in our stores from now to Christmas. Said, let's let her come to the table. It was just about like this. Let's set a table at the front of the store. You may have seen me there. I've been in every store like this. So I goes off the table. And he said, let's let her come into our store and let's let her do a Christmas promotion. She can sell her clothes off the table. And I said, I want her to be in every weekend. I want her to be as often as she wants to be, or every hand when I can. And it was the 2nd of December, and I was going to be there on the 24th. And I thought, well, I've got to prove myself. So this is what I thought, well, am I going to do? So I went home that day. I told my daughter, she had turned up on the city. I said, Daddy, we can make you both. How, Mom? What do? I don't have to make both. I called my daughter-in-law out here in Nicholasville, and I said, Lori, get out there, go to Walmart, Daddy, and buy, and let's make bows. And she said, what kind? You know, and I said, well, you've been seeing kind of been making girls. Let's make them. I went home and I told my neighbors, would y'all like to make bows? They, everyone in front of my face. Because we had been playing accidentally every night. And now I wasn't playing domestic anymore. I would be so jealous at my time. I think, why did you guys come down? I've got things to do. It's something I like to do. I don't want to play cards anymore. You're not making any money. You're not doing anyone good. The dining room table was always covered. And but now I had a bedroom that was just almost a taken over. And so for this promotions, I had cleared $1,700. And I mean, everybody was paid for, everything was paid. And I thought, this in my life, I had never had a check. Never only a check from my husband, and I was $50 way back then. And I thought, you can do it. Hey, I'm doing something that is good and it's in demand, and I can do it. So I got so involved. By the way, when I leave the store, I'll talk about this. When I leave the store, maybe leave the table right there and bunch of so big things. So that meant every place that I had to be there, all over the whole New Ranch Road. And it was keeping, I was working through the night. We was in the car, I was tying bows, I was curling bows. And we stayed in a motel, or up to my daughter-in-law would have the blue bellies working through the night, trying to get this Christmas order bill. So right after it was over, Chuck Webb again, I said, now Chuck, I want to leave these in the store. Everybody likes them. He said, yes, they do. And I said, how are we going to display them? In Walmart, at that time, there had never been a freestanding floor there. And now I didn't know about Bentonville. Still been, it's 3 years before I went to Bentonville to meet the buyers. So he said, well, I'll tell you what, maybe you can come out and buy in this district. And I said, don't you go outside in this district. I can't take care of you. Late May with them. 6 months I was in all the districts in Oklahoma. He kept saying, don't do it. You can't do it. Better not. I can't take care of you. I'm just listening. But anyway, they went to whatever I went. So for now, I had about 30 women working in their homes. And my home wasn't my home anymore. There's even hanging in the bathroom. My husband, he was having step big. He wasn't very tall anyway to just get through the balls. And Mom, he would turn the bed off, or do I just go to bed with all these balls? So that was everything. But then my son had bought an acreage where he lives now, close to my school. And he said, we had 3 guys and all in a she went, I wanted my husband to be able, let's buy mobile home, let's do something so I can work at home and get out of the house. You told me it was going to be a hobby and you wasn't going to do this, and no, I'm not going to build you anything. So sure enough, he did. And here we was, and the house was full, and I had several women come in working, and I fixed lunch every day for all these women. We just had balls, some of them bathed, man. You know, we watched the story from 12 to 1. But we was enjoying life, you know. And Anyway, if I'd have to go off and I had a girl that was overseeing everything and it just went right on. I will tell you something that Walmart did for me, and I fear the Hogan Walmart. First, the good Lord. And Walmart stepped in, and this district manager told Mandy, Mandy Millions that hold it there, you let that lady have anything she wants, it costs. This is the way I always business. Last year we did about $7 million, and I've never borrowed that. No, first 3 or 4 years that we had the business, I didn't get a check. I would write these girls a check, and I wish I had done. I wish I could check. Didn't have enough money for me to get a check. And so my husband, the thought we had, I was getting along, but I wasn't getting good things like I thought I should have. And I wasn't sewing anymore, but now I shouldn't have time to sew. But our business expanded. The growth was great. I will tell you, if I had a word, a student, I don't care how ugly that face is, and how dirty that little thing might be, how poor a family is from his punch is just important as that rich man's son and daughter that they're paying, and they're just there because mom and dad's making. I know my teachers thought I was slow because it wasn't business. I knew what they're saying, but are you better anyway? And I thought, why are they just dumb here? And so sometimes your student may be seeing something that you're not seeing. So pay attention to your student. And don't be too hard on them, because that might be the best mind in your class. I went to Washington, D.C. I met the president just recently. I'll tell you what happens in life. First, I will tell you the good Lord saw fit for me to do this. He gave me what it took. And believe me, there's hanging in there. There is lots of crying. There is lots of sleepless nights. I didn't have anyone to call home and say, now what do we do? I went out, we began the first 3 years. My husband and I was taking care of 5 states with one another. And we lived in our suburban and in motels. And I was working in motels tonight. He was sleeping and I was working. He lived and I worked, and he died and I worked. But I did get enough to manage to hold my legs. But we personally was taking care. I will tell you what the world is looking for, as this gentleman said, affection. The Taiwan market, I don't care what anyone tells you about the foreign trade market. They're killing the United States. We compete with them, and she was telling how beautiful the things. I haven't seen anything yet. I think it's pretty they made. If they throw it together, it's shockingly made. Is that not true? You look at, I'm talking about crafts now. Their TVs and some of the things like that are great. But they're my biggest competition in the world today, both. And they are just thrown together. Their glue is showing. I mean, they're using the cheapest materials, the cheapest clip. They give these women, and I'm hearing this from Walmart, it's not just someone else told me that. Sometimes they'll pay a woman 20 cents about it. Make those. My women live right here on the shoulder. They're just like me. They're white women, they're black women, they're Indian girls, they've got a few Spanish, but we're these people, we're these human beings all working together to try to have a job. In Hughes County, we're employing probably close to 600 people. They are living in their homes. I work, I go to any Walmart and look for rainbows and halos. You examine, I don't care which bow you pick up. It's the best bow on the market today. I do little markets around the country. And for the price that we put ours in, and the Walmart sells ours for. Every time I go to Bentonville, and I've been down there about 13, 14 times before next week, it's down there Tuesday. Maybe you've got to come down. Maybe we can't give you this. Maybe we can get these from Taiwan for about a piece. Maybe we can get these for 30 cents. Did you carnivals you see in Walmart? 70 cents. And that's what they give for them. They sell them for different prices. But Walmart advertises buy America. We buy America so we can buy America. bottom line at Walmart, as everybody else, is sales and money they make, naturally. And I fight with Walmart all the time. I do go up and meet with my buyers. I am up against Taiwan and how much chemicals are made in China. But they are hurting them. I called them one day. We're choosing about 600 women. And the balls they get from Taiwan and China, all these places are shipped directly from the warehouses in Walmart warehouse. These store managers don't like them, but they have to sell them. Once they come into their stores, they're there, so they have to mark them. Our roles are put in the merchandisers. In fact, my daughter does this in the city area, and she and another lady. And I have people out working personally in the stores. Walmart loves that. They love us to come in and we do all the work for them. But our balls are still 100% handmade. And we try to put the best quality in that ball market today. And we do make balls for a very update. We have balls and very updated tops. We have no name on our labels. We have other names on our labels. So we can make anything the public wants, but we try to give them the best ball. I still believe, just like Sam Walton started his business, you treat people right and everyone treats you right, you're going to win someplace. And with Walmart, I bet she probably was one of the first bows in Walmart. And way back then, they gave me $3 for bow. That was $1.62. Well, our bows are a lot better right now than they've ever been. We've got dated on everything. In fact, there is a guy making our cards, plastic cards, in the terminal right now in his food hotel. And we have one we talk from shooting. Is anybody here from these guys? Oh, we do have a couple. Who are you? Are you from both papers this time?
No, not he's a family, but
What about you?
I got to teach it a little bit.
Okay. We're okay down there, aren't we? But anyway, I am proud to say that things can be good if you can do it. I will say you have to put your shoulder to it. You will work through the night. You're not going to have anyone you can talk to a lot of times. I don't know who cries, but I've cried. I'm sure she has. And you just wish there's somebody you know to talk to and can tell me what we're going now what do I do. But I think the greatest thing that happened to me, someone said, was meeting President Bush and shaking his hand. The best thing that's happened to you. I said, no, it's not. It wasn't, you know, that didn't mean all that much to me. I'm like everybody else. I won't shake the president's hand, and I've never seen one personally before. But there's a lot of things better than shaking the president's hand to me. And that is saying a little lady, 85 years old, put her arm around me and say, me, I make a woman, and I make what I learned. Maybe on something I can buy my medicine now. Or a family come to me and say, you're absolutely putting food on our table. I've got several ladies in their 70s. I got new furniture, come here, me, I got a new car. I've got people saying, now I'm paying tires, first time I've been making that much tires. We cry together. We pray together. We die together. We share together. It's the people that work for us, I would say 80% of them is my best friend. And I mean, I just love every one of them. And their work, their love shows in my bows. And this is what makes our bows so unique. There's a lot of love. And they're still handmade and you don't have to, if you buy bows and you go buy one and buy one of them, say shame on you. And this is, it's like I said, talking about David Bowen, when I was in Washington, D.C., I had won this in Oklahoma, and I still don't believe it, that I even got it in Oklahoma. I will say this, for you that don't know this, do people know that 70% of the jobs are given to people today by businesses, entrepreneurs. This is across the United States, not just in Oklahoma. But when they called me and said that we have selected you for the state of Oklahoma, I couldn't believe it. I feel the least of everybody. And then the day that I came to the Capitol to the city for the media, for this to be released, at this same meeting, everybody's there. They also said the incident she's working in the region. This was Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. And I couldn't even talk. I thought Texas, it's as big as four of our state, you know. And you know what Texas is, they're big and better than anything. So then, when I was going to get to Washington, D.C., I thought, hi, great, don't ever win anything, you know, I'm not even going down there to win. But what I thought, my children have never been to Washington, D.C. I got 7 grandchildren, but then I didn't get to go. I had never been. I took my 2 sons, their wives, my daughter and her husband, my 7 grandchildren. My husband didn't want to go, he don't like to rock. We went to Washington, D.C., and we were received so well. I spent days with these people, and let me tell you, you talk about impressiveness of people from across the United States. They had high-tech everything. And they had a little space for us, just in this wide, and this big, huge ballroom, the most beautiful room I ever walked in, chandeliers longer than this room, and almost as wide. It was just absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. Well, they had us around the sides, you know, all the way around the sides. There was 50 states, Puerto Rico, D.C., and Guam. This was 53 that were vying for this, you know, and I really wasn't. And certainly that evening when I got there and I saw gentlemen of one of their businessmen that were distilling America, and if there is one that would distill on the highways, make our roads, highways stronger. Very high tech. One lady had developed a deal to go into nearsighted eyes, you know, and distill and building them perfect, you know, nearsighted. This is some of the things that I was sitting here missed. And all I was doing was running around letting everybody, you know, and I guess a lot of people who live on the United States have never been hugged before. I treated them all this alike, and I just fell in love with every one of them. And there were 7 women, the rest of them were men. Another thing you might pass along, you might know, you might not, trying to get started in a business. And I didn't know this. There is the Small Business Administration you can go to. And I sat in a meeting in Washington, D.C. at the Chamber of Commerce. I heard everything that they could do helping the small business person started. I did go one time to meet with the 2 bankers at Holyville and the mayor. Walmart had kind of given me an option, and they said, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to close an owner's store. And I didn't have, but I knew I could do it. But you think you can do it? I said, no, I don't think, I know I can. You have the manpower in Hughes County? I said, yes, we do. I knew that we could get people to make growth. That's the very least of my work. Well, do you have the space? And I said, no, but it's everywhere. You know, in Hughes County, we got space. So anyway, I went to meet with them one day, and there was 2 ways I could go. I could go as I was, as I could, and keep everything up and go as I could. Or maybe you can go borrow about $6 million and really go to all of them and start. Well, I went to Holyville. I asked my banker and the other bank, we've got 2 banks in Holyville, and the mayor, if they would meet with me and my accountant. And so they did. They come and met with me, and I told us what I might want, that I might want $6 million. And they assured me they'd give it to me. Yeah. You know, I found out later that when I left, they said, bless your home. I said, she thinks we're safe if we offer her $10 million. I'm not going to need it. Today, they're coming to me, believe me. I never did have to go to them, thank God. Oh. And then when I got insurance, when you go in Walmart, they want your husband to in Walmart, and they would tell you you have to have insurance. Anybody that's in Walmart, millions of dollars, you got to have insurance. So I went to State Farm, but again, we had our ranch, our cars, and our vehicles, and that's all insured. And I said, I knew the man very well. He was about my son's age. You're going to insure my boats, you know? And he said, well, I guess so. But everything else you got insured. And I said, well, I need so $1 million on this boat. So they borrowed a piece of paper back that one. he looked at me, and he looked at me, and he said, okay, I know he couldn't believe me. But Walmart has a policy, and you have to be within their policy, their guidelines. And so he called Dallas, his office, and said, hey, we got this, and we want to insure it, and she needs this much. That's why she's got things in Walmart. They said, we have no idea. We've never been insured more in our lives. I said, I can't believe this, I said, and talking to him, he couldn't make it out. He don't want to talk about it. He said, would you send me that vote? He sent that little vote. It's about that long, about that wide. Him. And he tells this story today to everybody. He said the guy that was the head of this deal in Dallas was a black gentleman. Very smart, very intelligent. And he said, it was just about this long, he said he got a hold of it. He slung it like this, and he sat down and began to laugh. He said, they want insurance on this. There's a $1,000 of insurance on this. And, well, anyway, they passed it. We got everybody else. She's not going to need insurance on that. We still got our insurance with them. And thank God we haven't had reserves on that yet. But anyway, I would say, and I do have something I would like to read you, and this is my philosophy. I've had many stories written about me. I've had a lot of things said, and all of them good. I've been called lots of names, and all of them wasn't good either. But I will tell you some of the things that I personally have found to be so in starting a business. Often obstacles, fears, doubts become your best friends and your best helpers. Obstacles are necessary for success and growth in any career. Victory only comes after many struggles and countless defeats, and I've been through them all, believe me. Yet each struggle, each defeat sharpens your skills and strengthens your courage and your endurance and instills confidence that I can do it. Thus, each obstacle is a comrade in arms, forcing you to become better what you quit. A lot of people, they told me this in Washington, D.C., every entrepreneur, every small business person, the first 2 years ago, say, yeah. Often because they do that, and these two people right here are very successful, and I can tell you, you put up the defeats out and do it. Overcome that defeat. You're always fighting against every odd. You're fighting against your family, fighting against you. My husband, don't do it. My kids thought, Mom, we're crazy. She said, no. She said, no, maybe boss, we're not getting all those fried fries now. She doesn't get up at 10 o'clock and cater for she might eat by his 9 o'clock. So you're facing everything, and it comes toward you. And I guess being a farmer and nature's wife, and a mother, a grandmother, my greatest obstacle in the beginning and holding on to and producing the business was being a farmer's wife. Farmer. They have a place back there they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a homemaker, help me. Okay, I have done all those things. I don't like to cook anymore, I've done. I don't like sewing more, I've done. All the things I've always meant to do. I'm doing well. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And it's good for me. Failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough. I begin each day with a vitality greater than the day before. I'm enthused, and it rises with each new day. And it helps me to overcome the fears of yesterday. Our dreams, our plans, and our goals are possible only unless we follow everything we have about action. Don't just dream it, don't just think it, just don't think it. One day I'll get to it. I can't be still. I couldn't sit this long for nothing. I just cannot be still. There's so much, I think, why is everybody sleeping? Why is the world sleeping? There's things to do. There's things to get done. I feel like there's not enough hours in a day. I'm 66 and I think, I can't do it. I've got too much to do on the fly plane. That's the next thing I want to do. I want to finish my grade. It's going to be the reverse of much of that. I don't like that story about Oklahoma. I want them to know the beauty here. The strength of our people, the goodness of our people. I've been all over Oklahoma. And when we was farming before I started this business, I had been in Holdingville. Home City, Tom, too. we have been from all the way through England, all the way across the state. We've done this long story. I just say pride sometimes. I thought, isn't Oklahoma beautiful? Aren't these people lovely? You know, this is one of the greatest states. It's got to be now. I've been in many states, and I still love Oklahoma best. I think we have the friendliest, the most outgoing, the kindest, the better, more moral type people probably in the United States today. And I want the world to know it's beautiful. It's good. Our land is good. We have a beautiful state. I always pray for guidance. And I pray for alertness to recognize opportunity. And yet to be endowed with patience. It does take a lot of patience. And I do think each one of you, I always talk too much. That's why they always put me last. There is so much to say, there's so much to do. And you people, you teachers, go back and work with that. Don't get anything as well very much. That might be your entrepreneur, might be your very successful person. Give them your hand, pay a little closer attention. You didn't see what's making him tick. You might be surprised what's in that little life. And it just needs someone, as she said about the school one. Sometimes my teacher, she's still living, and when we had our big to do here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma had a thankful hospital there, which is so coincidental. People were there from all over Oklahoma, and I was the last one to speak, about 15 minutes before me. And I did have water, and I did get really nervous. But what we find out is my second grade teacher was there to see me that night. And she said, Amelia, I always knew. She would say, you color better than anyone in the room. Make stroke better than anyone in the room. And like I said, I was that little young girl, very poor family. And she said, would you come and do our Christmas decorations? Would you come up and would you do our Halloween creation? It made me feel good. I love her today. While she was not very faithful, she let me know then that there was something inside me that was worth developing. And then another teacher I had in the 8th grade, I believe, she would have to do boards and write poetry and do all these things. I love to do it, and I do mine, and others kids will up to me, but she do mine too. That's why I did mine, because I worked through a weekend on the thing I was going to do. And she always said, maybe one day you'll learn. And you have everything inside you, and I know that. I admire and respect the lady. We lost her bigger stuff. But teachers would be very aware of that. The person they probably wouldn't care very much about. He may be very one day going to come to me and say, I remember when you taught me this and so. And you're going to say, yes, I did. And you're going to remember me, especially about that. But listen, in your classes out there, I would say Oklahoma has a handle of good things. And I would just say, encourage them. Let them know you're there. Spend a little extra time. Spend a little later. You know, money is not everything we treat there. Money is not. It's temporal. It's what you do to someone. It's what they live in that life that makes them great and much. Thank you very much for too much time. I've enjoyed it.